I saw this really terrible post on Twitter, which is like, if an entrepreneur works hard, you get a lot of things. If a team member works hard, they get a thank you, or they get a good job. I think that's terrible on so many levels. But because of that, there's a thrashing culture which is going on, that founders get like this, and you don't get that. Then there is a culture of, iska CEO ka salary increase 150%, we got a pay cut, right? Multiple narratives going on. I'm not going to get into like the rights and wrongs of it.
Yeah,
I'm nobody
yeah.
to comment on what's right and what's wrong. But what troubles me is I went through the news recently. Bed Bath and Beyond. I think that's the company, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The CFO jumped i- after the layoffs, and it was terrifying. And I've never done like a full-time job. I've always done, internships, or I've always done like part-time work with companies. So I've always lived a life which is of ambiguity,
Yeah,
which is that I don't know where my next paycheck is coming from. Even as a company, you never know like when things go wrong.
absolutely.
It is a lot of stress, right? How do you look at this situation? Because it is making me sad that people are looking at the headlines of somebody making crores and ignoring everything else that goes
Yeah, look,
behind it.
we have to accept that there is some sensationalization in the
Hmm.
media. What I would say is that for founders, one thing we used to never say was employees. We used to
Hmm.
say team members. That was
Yeah.
critical, right? And if you genuinely think about it like that,
Hmm.
and you keep a transparent communication with your team, whatever the media says about you or your company will not be relevant, right? So I've
Right.
always seen that, look, companies have ups and downs. There are cycles. Some days are good, some days are bad. Everyone understands that. As long as you have a town hall conversation, you have an all hands meeting, you have an open conversation, your door is open, and you treat everyone like equals and like team members and part of the vision, I think that's half the battle won.
Right.
Um, every company has tough times. We had tough times as well at Dr. Vedya's. There was lots of ambiguity when COVID hit. Fine, it worked out well for us because demand surged. But for the first 10 days, I was scared as hell. When revenue went to zero and I saw zero on my Google Analytics, I freaked out.
Yeah.
It's the scariest thing in the world. Right? But I think open communication. I write a note to my team every day on our WhatsApp group saying what's happening, what we did today, how we're trying to get back to business. Eventually, when
What are
we
some
got
good
back to
practices
business.
that you think like a founder can do to make sure
Yeah.
you create a better culture for the team?
Yeah, door open.
Hmm.
um, Enough opportunities for the team to give you feedback as you give feedback as well.
Right.
A feeling of, hey, I can have this conversation if things are not going so well, on both ways, right? Upward and downward communication is very important.
Hmm.
And the last thing, yeah, don't say employee, say team.
Team
Everyone's
members,
part
right?
of the game.
I
Yeah,
think that's such a massive difference in just these two words, because it's your mentality
it's your mentality.
on how you look at like your team or
Absolutely.
your